Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be watching from. My name is Dr. Rosemond Osei Cranting, and today I have a story to share. And many years ago, when I was in my late teens, very early adulthood, I had a very peculiar challenge, probably because of the kind of background I came from, or because of the kinds of things people said to me, or because of the way people treated me. I suffered very severely from low self-esteem. And this video is for anybody out there who has ever felt or occasionally feels that they are not good enough or not worthy. And so I suffered this condition so bad and for so long that I always felt that whenever there was a choice, I would obviously be the one that was not chosen. I always felt that other people were better than me. I walked the earth with my shoulders slammed, and I just felt that there was nothing good about me and I would never be chosen. But somewhere along the journey in my life, something shifted. I don't know exactly what, but probably the things I was reading or the people I was listening to, it finally made a difference. And I remember in medical school, after the 6th year, normally what happens is that everybody actually is expected to travel outside the country for what we call an exchange program, all right? And here I was at the end of 6th year. My mother is selling kinke and wache in medical school. And so I asked myself, how am I going to get to travel outside to have an exchange program? And at that time, there were about 130, 140 of us in class. And there were free slots for about 20 people. Okay, so when you get a free slot, what it means is that you get a school, you get the school hosting you, giving you accommodation and everything. All you needed to work for was your air ticket, right? If you don't get a slot, then you have the job of going to find your own school outside, paying for the tuition, paying for accommodation, and paying for your flight. And so everybody hoped to get a slot so that all you have to do is to pay for your air ticket. And here we were about 140 of us, and there were 20 slots. So what normally happened was that you ballot for the slots. So they put the slots all in one bowl and everybody goes to pick. So if you pick a blank paper, then you don't get a slot. If you pick, let's say, so I went and I picked the paper and I opened it and it was Denmark. And so here I was, a kinky seller's daughter, and I was lucky enough to be one of the few people who got a slot to go and do my exchange program outside Denmark. And then I asked, hey, into Denmark, where am I going to get money to pay for the air ticket? At that time, I was vice president of the University of Ghana Medical Students Association. And in the past year, we had done a lot of outreaches for a lot of corporate bodies. I've always loved doing outreaches. So one of the companies we had done an outreach for, a medical outreach, was Voted Ghana Limited. And so I remember taking a letter to them asking for sponsorship for my trip. And so one fine day, here I was going about my normal business. And then I get a call from Voltic. And we're like, we want you to come over. So I picked my trust key and went over to their office. And then the man told me that my company has agreed to pay for everything concerning your trip to Denmark. And they followed it up and wrote a check for me those days. And so suddenly here I was a month ago with no hope of going for an exchange program. And within that space, I not only got a slot, but I got a fully paid trip. And as though that was not enough, about a month before we started preparing for our trip, there was another announcement. The announcement was that, oh, there is a school in US that has given 5 extra slots. And so this time we are going to ballot for the 5 slots again. And everybody was allowed to ballot. So I went to pick again. And guess what? I got the slot to the US. And so here I was with a slot to Denmark. Here I was with a slot to US, University of Michigan, Ann Arbor. And then a week or so before we traveled, they came and made an announcement again. They were like, oh, we have some $500 to distribute for a number of students. And once again, we are going to ballot. And I balloted and I got $500 pocket money. Why am I telling you this story? I'm telling you this story to make you understand that a lot of the things that happen to us in life, it is largely because of the way we see ourselves. For a long time, when I was in that place where I had this low self-esteem and felt that I was not worthy, I didn't deserve anything good, invariably when I walk into a place with my friends, everybody else will be chosen. I will not be chosen. But then a time came when I decided to change the way I saw myself, to change what I believed about myself. I started to walk with a spring in my step and a twinkle in my eye. I believed that despite where I had come from, I was worthy. I was as good as anybody and everybody else. And the moment my internal environment, the environment between my 2 ears, shifted and I started to see myself differently, things began to align in my favor. The environment did not change. The perimeter, the circle of friends, the people around me did not change. But I changed. The way I saw myself and the way I responded to the universe changed. And within that short period of time, all these amazing things happened to me. And everybody around me was shocked. I mean, who is this girl? Where did she come from? Everybody wants a slot. They didn't get. She's gotten 1, she's gotten 2, and now she has $500. All because the way I saw myself changed. And so if you are out there listening to me and you are suffering from what I did suffer from a few years back, I hope that this story motivates you and gives you the courage to start to see yourself differently and to change how you see yourself, because so long as you are made in the image and likeness of God, you do matter. You are worthy and you deserve all the good things that this world has to offer. But you got to believe it first, and then it is yours for the taking. Thank you and God bless you.